Hi guys, welcome back to Chiche's Mind. I know this is like a different
look.
Exactly, different everything. Because normally it's like Chiche standing and up there. All these sit down videos are different. But yeah, somebody requested for a how to invest, things to invest in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me introduce our guest so you know why he's here with me. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi guys, my name is Eniola Tito Abumeri. You can just call me Tito. I'm also a YouTuber, I'm a photographer and a YouTuber. On my channel, I talk about personal finance and relationships and other things, but let me just leave it at that. And Uche, a friend of mine, we met at a YouTube training event a couple of months ago.
Actually.
Yeah, so that's how we know each other.
YouTube bootcamp.
Yeah, YouTube bootcamp. I think that was April or something.
Yes, but now you can know why he's here. He's the financial person.
Hmm.
Me, I don't know anything about finance. So I can't even come here and play myself. So I was like, okay, let's do this video. So you guys that are trying to invest in things in Nigeria will know 5 easy things to invest in Nigeria and why you should invest in them. So let's start from the highest of the lowest.
In fact, when you said 5, I was like, whoops, I only prepared for 3, but I will find 2 to add to it.
Jara.
Yeah. Okay, let's start from the most popular one and the safest one, which is mutual funds. I'm sure you said you've heard about mutual funds.
I have, but I don't know.
You don't know about it? Okay, so there are different types of mutual funds. Mutual funds is like when people join their money together. Like several people give a fund administrator their money, and then that fund administrator now use you guys' money to go and invest in things for you. And that person is a professional, they know what they are doing. So that's why they're very popular, and that's why it's safe. So it just takes the burden off you to be knowing which is a good stock or which is a good investment, and the fund administrator or the asset manager will do all that for you. And it's just different people bringing their money together. It's very popular and very safe.
So how much will you get in return for it?
It depends on the percentage. So maybe like the annual percentage for or annual return for a mutual fund. Let's say the average is like 12%, between 12 and 14%, but let's just say it's 10%, right? So let's say you invest in a money market mutual fund in January 2020, and you put in, the minimum is 5K that you can invest in, but let's say you do 10K. So let's say you put in that 10K, by the end of the year, by the end of 2020, you should get 10% on top, which is 1K. So that your 10K, which was 10K, or your investment, which was 10K in January, is now 11K by December. Yeah, so it's safe. And first of all, and it's easy to get into. From a minimum of 5,000, you can invest in mutual funds, and there are different kinds of mutual funds depending on how much risk you want to take. But Google that and check out some websites. Some good ones. The one I use is Standard IBTC Asset Management Limited, and FBN Quest is also good, and maybe ARM. So just go to their websites and see their different types of mutual funds.
Or then can you get scammed?
No, not with mutual funds. No, not if you go to a proper one that we all know. I mean, Standard IBTC Asset Management, you know a bunch of them.
I know ARM.
You know ARM as well. So I mean, these are big companies and they have bigger clients than you and me. so but mutual funds are safe. The likelihood of, well, it depends on the mutual fund you go for, sure. Let me just leave it at that. But the likelihood of your investments reducing in value is low. It's most likely will appreciate. It may not appreciate a lot too, but to shall appreciate. But this all depends. And these are the kind of questions you should ask when you go to the asset manager. Ask them, okay, so how does this work?
Go on to my research. Yeah, I need to start something.
Okay.
So what's number 2 there?
Number 2 is agricultural tech investments, agri-tech. So these are like, there may be like a farmer, for example, in Kaduna, who wants to grow maize, but he doesn't have money. It's kind of like mutual funds. So an agri-tech company like Farm Crowd, they'll go and meet the farmer and say, okay, you want to raise funds to grow maize for 9 months, okay. So he will register with Farm Crowd. Farm Crowd will now come to the public, you and me, and say, okay, you guys, I'm selling 20,000 naira units or per unit. Invest in it, and you get maybe 10. Those ones are, the percentages are quite high, they're from like 20% upwards. Meaning that, once I put 20K, for example, after 9 months, I will get 10% on 20K is 2,000, so 20% is 4,000. So I'll get 24,000 back. So the money that the farm carrier has collected from us will now go and they will now give it to the farmer to help him start his farm and to grow the crops. Once he grows the crops and sells the crops, we will now get our money back. So the good thing about agri-tech investments is that Well, they're insured first of all, and the returns, the percentage of return is really nice. They are really attractive. You know, I said mutual funds like 10 to 12%. Agri-tech investments are like from 20% upwards. So they go.
Is it like a lifetime thing?
No, it's not a lifetime. It's a short-term investment. So
for how many years?
So like if you plant, I don't know when they plant maize, but for example, you plant maize. Sometimes they have even for livestock like chickens. So the guy may want to rear chickens for maybe, I think the lifespan for chickens. Most of these things are less than a year. Yeah. So if he wants to rear chickens from January till July, which is 7 months. So it's a 7-month investment. So imagine you put 100K into like a poultry farm investment. So 100K by January, and let's say it's at 10% as well. By July, you are getting 110,000 naira back. So it's less than a year.
So you get it back.
You get the money back.
If you want to invest again,
you can instruct the agri-tech company that look, once it's over, once the 6 months or 7 months are up, put my money back into another one. Maybe it may not be poultry or something, because that poultry one maybe has gone and maybe the farmer doesn't want to do it again. Yeah. But you can tell them to just take the money and put it back inside another one. Or you can collect the money, get your credit alerts, and then go back on the website, look for another one and put it back. So it's all up to you.
Oh, so that one is different from the
mutual fund.
Mutual fund can be like a
yes, mutual fund can be indefinitely, yeah. Okay. You can leave it there for decades up until when you want to cash out, when you want to liquidate it or sell your investment and make money from it.
Oh.
So the advantage of the agri-tech one is agriculture, 2, you're helping a farmer, 3, the percentage of return are really attractive and it's less than a year. So yeah.
You guys, this is like key tips. Me, I feel like I prefer the ARM one.
This is
compared
mutual
to
funds, right? Compared to the agri-tech.
Agri-tech, okay, you can still put your money inside, but by that time you like, I have money in my hand too. You just be scratching you, see ice cream is fair, this is fair, before you know it.
The thing about investing is that it's patience. That's like the major thing with investing. And that's why a lot of people don't invest, because we're impatient. We put 100K down now. By the end of the month, we want 200K. It doesn't work like that. If not 500K, it doesn't work like that.
Money. What is wrong?
No. It doesn't work like that. You need to be patient. The patient dog gets the fattest bone.
True, Sha. True.
Okay, so the next one, right?
Yeah.
The next one will be Treasury Bills, which a lot of us hear about. Treasury Bills, or should I go with Treasury Bills or bonds? Treasury Bills, when you invest in Treasury Bills, it's like you're borrowing the government money. Treasury Bills are issued by the government. So if the government wants to raise money for maybe like an expressway or a federal road from the east to the north or something, that's just an example. They may come to the public and say, okay guys, we want to borrow money through Treasury Bills. So and Treasury Bills, there's the primary market. The primary market I think starts from 50 million. That's not for you.
It's not for us.
The secondary market, which is from about 100K, is where you can go to your bank. A lot of the banks offer Treasury Bills and tell them they want to invest in Treasury Bills. And it's kind of like mutual funds. So you take my 100K, your 100K, blah, 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 20 people's 100K to reach that 50M. Yeah. And then they'll now go and buy it from the government on our behalf. But they've joined plenty people's money. So yeah. So, and Treasury Bills, their selling point is that they are very safe. They are very, very safe because the government doesn't default. For the government to not be able to pay people back when they take money for Treasury Bills is an issue, and it's hardly ever happened. The returns aren't too fantastic, but it's sharp, very safe. And those ones who are short-term investments, short-term being that they are investments for less than a year. So if you do there's no Treasury Bill that is over, not to my knowledge anyway, that is over a year. Yeah. You have a 3-month one, a 6-month one, a 9-month one, and a 1-year one. So yeah.
It's like ARM is still the best.
You shall like that.
You know, when I'll keep it.
Yeah.
Then I'm saving. So when it's time,
you can now cash out.
Yeah, but I heard that with ARM, you have to write a letter or something for them to actually give you the money back, to take some money out of
your investment.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
well, someone was telling me one time that with ARM you have to write a letter giving them permission to give you your money.
Well, I don't know, but there are some very strict measures that these asset managers or these companies put in place to make sure that nobody is trying to play a fast one or nobody's trying to be fraudulent. Because sometimes, people will try and withdraw your money, scammers and whatnot. So they'll do the whole one-time password thing. They'll say fill out a form and all those kind of things just to make sure you are the one that is trying to withdraw from your investment and not a scammer.
She gets security.
Your own money.
Exactly, but I don't understand this, so it's not bad. So number 4.
Number 4 is federal government savings bonds, and that is very much like Treasury bills. In fact, I may have mixed Treasury bills up and the federal government savings bonds up together. But the federal government, there are 2 types of bonds that the government issues. There are regular government bonds and there are federal government savings bonds. The savings bonds they come out at the beginning of every month, like the first Monday of every month, and they last for like a week. And you can invest in them. They too are, the government trying to. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've mixed up Treasury bills and FGN Savings Bonds. But anyway, yeah, so FGN Savings Bonds is the government borrowing money as well. You can invest in the bond with as little as, I think it's 10,000, I don't remember the minimum, but you can invest in it. And they are safe because it's the government doing it as well. Most of the time, any investment that the government puts out, they are very safe because it's the government. The government has a reputation to protect, and the government is very solid. They may be owing other countries, or they may be owing banks, but they won't owe the public. They rarely owe the public. So it's very safe. That's the attractive thing about the FGN Savings Bonds. But the percentage of the returns are quite low. But yeah, they're very safe.
So which one you recommend? Which one is the highest?
If you're a beginner,
okay, let's do beginner.
If you're a beginner, yes. If you're just starting and you're wary, like Uchi, you don't want to lose all your money, or you're cautious, your main objective is I actually want to lose my money. Go with a money market mutual fund or a guaranteed mutual fund. A guaranteed mutual fund is just, that's the title. You are guaranteed not to lose. You will gain, but last, nothing will happen that you will lose. That your investments will drop in value. So either the guaranteed mutual fund or the money market mutual fund, those ones are extremely safe, and you have peace of mind when you go with those ones. The ones with the best returns from what I mentioned are the agri-tech ones.
Yeah.
I actually like them. I mean, I've seen percentages as high as 30%. That means if you can do, and it can be like for like 6 months or 7 months. Let me say 6 months. That means if you do a 6-month investment and you drop one in January, by July, at a 30% return, by July I'm getting 1.3 million. Do you get? Which isn't bad at all. Which is not bad at all. It's the 30% of 1 million. So by January you drop 1 million, by July you're getting 1.3 million.
What? But if you don't have 1 million, you can still.
Sure, I mean they're much lower. I just made it a big figure so that you see how much you could stand to
stand to
get.
2 million. Well, what of investing in property?
Property is very good. It's just that it's hard for low-income earners or young people to invest in property. Yeah. Because property, I mean, I'm looking from like 500. That's even land. Say 500k may get you like a plot or 2 of land, but that is not even in really attractive areas. That may be in some like outskirts. But property does increase in value, which is a good thing about it. But the main thing, property is always good, but it's tough for people like you and me, and a lot of your viewers, I imagine, to drop 500k and go and invest. That's even a minimum.
But is it that safe? Like, just imagine people in diaspora now that want to now invest in property.
Exactly, that's the thing. The title deeds and the documents for the property, they can be tricky. You have to really put your ears down, put your eyes down, and just make sure that, because a lot of people sell, like there may be a plot of land, and it happens a lot. A plot of land has already been sold to somebody else or belongs to somebody else. Somebody will now try and sell it again to a third party, and then you may not even know there and then. You find it maybe years later when you're now fencing the property that somebody, the owner, the real owner, come and say, what's going on here? This is my property. So the best thing is or the safer thing is to go through or to invest in those companies that have built like apartment buildings and say, okay, we're selling units. But I mean, units for those kind of things, like in Lekki here, there's one not far from here. Not far from here, just by IMAX. I asked a few friends, and it's about 45 million for an apartment building for one apartment.
But then you don't have to stay there.
You don't have to stay. You can rent it out. But then, if you are renting that kind of place out, the rent would be maybe like a lot of the times the rent of a property is 10% of its value. So a 40 million naira apartment, the annual rent will be maybe for like 4 million. You get? So if you buy a 40 million naira apartment and you want to rent it out, it will take you 10 years before you recoup your money back. And if you are renting at 4 million,
that's if the person
that's if you have a good tenant.
Exactly.
You get?
If not, maybe
you get? So and you may be paying some other maintenance costs.
Because I hear people talk about rent, right? Like investing in property.
But
most times I'm just like, when I've been hearing stories, this is my land, why are you fencing my land? You go to court, you guys will be, so all that money you've paid there is kind of good if you're not the original
owner.
And even if you may be the original owner, the person that maybe bought it might have like a higher
clouds or whatever
than you, so the person can be
win the
able to
case in court and whatnot. So
yeah, even good.
A lot of around that Ibejuleki and when the Dangote refinery is coming up, people are buying land there because development is happening there. And the good thing is now imagine buying it now in 2019, and then when that place is more developed and Dangote refinery is now up and running, because that's the big thing about that area, maybe 5 years from now, the land, even if you haven't built on it, the land will appreciate significantly. So in those, and the land there, you're not talking about 40 million in that case, maybe you're talking about 10 million or something. But it's cheaper today than it will be in a few years' time. And even if you buy property there and you don't build, you fence, but maybe you don't build the structure yet, in a few years, odds are the property or the price of the property will appreciate, because there are a lot of things happening there over the years, or that will be happening there over the years.
Yeah. That's good, because me, I know that by the time I have my 500 or even more, for my ARM and Stamping and Co, I can now start doing property investment. Because it sounds like a really good thing. Because I know I have friends that say, "Oh, my father has a land there," and I was like, why you living in well, your father has another land in Lekki or in Abuja? But now I'm not beginning to understand it that you don't necessarily have to be staying there, just build it and rent it out.
Or just let it appreciate. And people who imagine an older man now who has a property in Lekki and maybe his house is in I don't know, Akomojo or Yano or something, or Ogudu. What would you do if you had two properties? You had one in Lekki and you had another property in Ogudu. Which one would you live in? Which one would you rent out?
See, the thing is, I feel like I know that I'll make more money from Lekki, because that's the in place now.
Where you can command more rent.
So I'll just be staying in Ogudu and be managing. But then, by the time maybe Ogudu should start popping now, I don't know if I'll say I want to move to Lekki. So it should depend on where I'm making more money from.
It's probably Lekki, because Ogudu is old school. There isn't that much development going. It's a nice place. I have a few friends who live on the mainland and everything, but Lekki, the value of Lekki keeps on going up, even though the development isn't really fantastic.
Everyone is Lekki, Island. So if you have property in Island, we'll be cashing out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's different, but it doesn't matter. We're teaching you, we're schooling you.
And
you guys,
Uche is listening to you guys.
Exactly.
This video is as a result of what somebody said in the comments. So,
and then you guys too should also go to any last channel, because if you want anything finance, you guys, I'm not a finance person, but I'm learning, because I need to be a rich woman in the future. Go to his channel, relationship stuff, go to his channel.
That's not finance stuff.
His channel. If you want to fun, enjoyment, everything, come here. You know me.
As which is stage.
But stuff. I'm going to be mixing it, because you guys need to learn about other things, not only just enjoyment
and places to eat, which is very relevant, and you help a lot of people who goes to you. So
hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, everything,
all join social media, everything.
And if you want us to do more videos like this, or if you have ideas of any other videos you want us to create for you, comment down below. And we'll see you next time. Do you have anything to say?
Well, just thank you to Chuche. I've been watching your vlogs for a while, and you're doing great.
Thank you.
And at our YouTube events, you were awesome, and I was glad that you were able to be a part of it. Anyway, Chuche is awesome, and you guys, you're following the right person. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't liked, and all that good stuff. And check out my channel as well.
Don't forget to, everything in the description. So I'll see you guys next time.